Hi there, thanks for joining us. It's The Sweet Spot, the weekly golf show from the Racing Post that brings you top tournament previews and best bets. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm joined as usual by Steve Palmer for a triple header of tremendous golf action from around the globe. 3 tournaments to get stuck into. And I think Steve's going for selectivity rather than a blanket approach this week. So it'll be fascinating to see who he tips. But as usual, before we look ahead, let's look back on... We only had 1 tournament last week, Steve, but I've got to say this, before we look at exactly what happened, what a course Leopard Creek is. I mean, not only is it a stunning golf course with challenging holes and water everywhere, but the wildlife. I mean, there were hippopotamuses and asps and, you know, it was just incredible. They'd pan back from the fairway and there are elephants grazing by the fairway. It's just incredible, wasn't it?
It is, and it's the sort of tournament you can justify watching with your children, can't you? Because you're educating them about animals. I mean, if you put them down for 5 or 6 hours of golf coverage, you sometimes feel quite guilty about it. But when you're studying hippopotami and elephants and whatnot, you feel it's educational. So yeah.
And all the bird life as well. Those beautiful, brightly coloured birds that Tony Johnson identifies so well. Now then, okay, that was the animal side of things. In terms of the actual humans, it was Heartbreak Hotel again, wasn't it, Steve?
It was, because Jaden Trey Shaper played so well. I mean, he looked like the Bernard Langer in his pomp over the first 3.5 rounds, didn't he? I mean, his course management for one so young, amazing. He's got that short, brisk swing that not a lot can go wrong with. But as you say, it was heartbreaks. It all changed on the 10th tee on Sunday. You get a lot of crashing bores say that the tournament doesn't start until the back 9 on Sunday, don't they? Which is obviously complete tosh. You don't see the players that have missed the cut queuing up on the 10th tee on Sunday saying, let's get going again. But something did happen on that walk from the 9th green to the 10th tee for Schaefer on Sunday, because he suddenly tried to give it a lot of welly on the 10th tee, didn't he? He tried to hit it much harder and it just dived left on him. Every time he tried to give his drives a bit more welly, they went left. That one was dead as a dodo, triple bogey 7, went from the lead to playing catch up.
I took the dog for a walk, Steve, and he was in great shape. And I came back and I look, and the commentator says, right, he's playing 5 off the tee. And that's what golf betting does to you. It can just reduce you to an absolute jelly, can't it?
Absolutely, and it's always on Sunday, isn't it? A day that most people are relaxing. I mean, that set up my Sunday for, it's a miserable start to Sunday. There's no getting away from it. But he almost recovered. I mean, he hit an amazing shot at the 11th to set up an eagle putt, missed that. Another amazing approach to 13 to set up another eagle chance. So he just didn't have the putting boots on Sunday. Ended up tied for 2nd. But yeah, Jaden Trey Shaper obviously got a magnificent future. He's only 19. He's going places.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, 19. I mean, I barely had the courage to ask a girl out to dance with me, let alone try and win a PGA tournament at 19. He's incredible, isn't he? He really showed a lot of poise. I thought, hopefully, I think it might be Peter Costis or Jim Nance or somebody says he's learnt a lot about himself this week. Hopefully, he would have done, but he's a very bright future. It's a brilliant tip. We got the place money, didn't we? He just about hung on, didn't he, for the place money? So all was not lost, was it?
No, that's right. I mean, you learn a lot from losing, perhaps more than you do from winning, they always say, don't you? And, he's very mature in his interviews, and he talks very, very well. He looks so young, doesn't he? I was showing my daughter and say, look, he's about a year older than you, and there he is doing, playing well in a professional event. So, but yeah, I think... if he'd found the fairway on 10, things might have been different. He might have won. I think the margin of victory flattered Bezuidenhout a little bit. 4 shots. It was closer than that. But he's bogey-free on the back 9, wasn't he, Bezuidenhout?
He had his own wobbles early on, though, didn't he? I mean, it wasn't entirely steady, but I suppose in the end, his experience and his just straight driving got the job done, didn't it?
Yeah, when the tournament started, as the crashing boars like to say, he was bogey-free from there on. And I think we have to accept that the course changes in 2017 to Leopard Creek now make this more of a grinder's track. I mean, it's the greens are so fast, and that's Bezuidenhout's game, very accurate, a grinder. So going forward next year, we'll have to be a little bit alert to that.
Yeah, slightly disappointing from some of the tournament principals there, wasn't it? Brandon Stone just never really got going, did he? Nienaber looked like he might, but then he was... That course is full of traps for a sort of daredevil like him, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there was just a crazy spell in round 1 where he just lost his timing. I mean, obviously with a swing as powerful as that, And when those long levers malfunction slightly, it can go horribly wrong. And he had problems with the 8th and 9th holes last week, which we'll come to later, because I want to chat about my man, the neighbour, again later in the South African Open.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But a little bird tells me that all was not lost for you from a betting perspective, because you relied on an old favourite to get you out of trouble, didn't you? The man in lime green.
You have been talking to some old friends. Yeah. Michael Van Gerwen got back to winning ways on Sunday night. A very tense finish to Sunday night.
He only just beat Mervyn King, didn't he?
Yeah, Mervyn King tried all sorts of shenanigans, as he often does, moaning about Van Gerwen celebrating a leg. I mean, Mervyn King needs to realise they're in the entertainment business. I mean, what a dour old sourpuss he is. But yeah, Michael Van Gerwen back to winning ways at the perfect time. World Championship around the corner.
Excellent. Good stuff. Right then. Okay, let's look ahead to 3 tournaments this week. Where should we start? Dubai, because that's the first one out of the traps, isn't it? Just talk us through what we've got this week, the 3 tournaments, and when people need to place their bet, if you would.
Golf in Dubai Championship starts early on Wednesday morning, UK and Ireland time. So, we need to get cracking on that one and get our bets on quickly, because we're off very soon. And then we've got the South African.
So basically, sorry, you have to bet on that before you go to bed on Tuesday, don't you?
Yeah. And then we got the South African Open on Thursday morning, and then we got the Mayakoba Classic on Thursday afternoon. That starts.
It's a fairly early start, that, because I think it's in Mexico and they're not that far behind us. So I think they're only 4 hours behind. So it's all fairly sort of early. It's just going to be a fantastic weekend of golf, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, we need to get going. And as I say, I have been selective. I've only got 8 selections across 3 tournaments.
Wow.
So your trebles fans could, you know what you're doing with your trebles, Bruce. You could have all sorts of, several trebles.
Each way doubles and trebles. That will be my poison on those 8 players. Let's start with the Golf in Dubai Championship then. I always think of Dubai, Steve. There's going to be a great field, but it's not brilliant this week, is it? Look at the betting. Wiesberg and McIntyre roughly 12-1. If you shop around, you might get better prices and better place odds, which is always really important. 14 Martin Kaymer, 16 Matt Wallace, Thomas Peters, and 20-1 Barr. You've got 3 selections. I don't think you've gone for any of those 3, have you? Oh, any of those guys we've mentioned?
No. Well, this is the inaugural Golf in Dubai Championship. Next week we've got the DP World Tour Championship, where all the big guns will come back for that. But we're at the Jumeirah Golf Estates, so it's next door to the Earth course, which hosts that DP World Tour Championship. This week we're on the Fire course for the first time, which is an easier layout, 7,480 yards, par 72, open in 2010. Also designed by Greg Norman, but the greens are slower. It's large, slow greens this week. Great weather forecast, not much wind. It's going to be a low-scoring event. And,
what sort of player does it suit? A banger?
You want a good putter on your side, because I think you're going to have to reach 20 under par at least to win this. And my number 1 selection is a fantastic putter, Thorbjorn Olesen, who's back in Dubai, a city that he's always absolutely adored, regular practice base for him through the years. He's contended in numerous times in various European Tour events in the Middle East, coming close to victory. 2nd in the 2013 Abu Dhabi, 3rd in the 2013 Dubai Desert Classic, 3rd in the 2014 Qatar Masters, 2nd in the 2016 Qatar Masters. His last trip to Dubai yielded 7th place in last year's Dubai Desert Classic. So proven desert rat, proven European Tour champion. He's won 5 times, including a final series event, Turkish Airlines Open, including a Rolex Series event, Italian Open. He's a World Cup winner. He's a Ryder Cup winner. He's a former world number 33. This is a class act, all right? But he's on offer at massive prices, opened up at 100-1 because he's had a little career stroke life wobble. Allegedly he's had one too many tinctures on a flight back from Memphis to London in the summer of last year. Allegedly he's behaved poorly thereafter, as many of us have.
He's got a court case hanging over him, but I think that's been deferred till next year, isn't it?
Yes. The court case, the earliest that can take place is December 2021. COVID keeps pushing back court cases. So the European Tour are happy for him to play. The suspension was lifted. He's welcome back to the circuit in August. And I've seen enough in the time he's been back to think he's on the way back. I think he's getting back in the groove. And I've got some contacts at an elite performance centre in Woburn that's just opened. Olesen was practicing there a couple of weeks ago, reportedly in very, very, very good nick. If that's the case, him going to a Dubai track where there's plenty of birdies up for grabs, that's right up his alley. So I'm encouraged. He opened at 100-1, still plenty of big prices out there. I think Thunderbear roars this week and reminds the world how good he is.
Okay, excellent. Wow, that's a very compelling case, right? I'll keep Steve has a little swig of his Cola there. We'll see who his second selection is.
Yeah, I'm fuming. The wife bought real Coke this time. I prefer Diet Coke, but we won't go into that.
Why did she do that? She's very health conscious. She's always very sort of keen to feed you healthily, isn't she? So that's an incredible blunder, isn't it?
Probably the only reason I'm still alive, actually, is her. So I must give her enormous credit for that. My next best is Tom Lewis. Desperate to get back into the world's top 50 before the end of the year. He's never played in the Masters, Tom Lewis. He needs to get back in the top 50 before the end of the year to get that Masters debut. That's why he's come back onto the European Tour. He's been focusing his attention on the PGA Tour, but he knows this is a great opportunity to get a victory. A low-scoring event in Dubai is right up his alley. Yeah, he's prone to low scoring. He shot 61 in the third round of the WGC in Memphis in the summer, finished second to Justin Thomas. That shows how good he is when his A game's there. He's not done much since then, but form figures of 7 and 6 in the DP World Tour Championship at the neighbouring Earth course over the last 2 seasons. Last year he finished 9th in the Abu Dhabi Championship, 3rd in the Saudi International. His ball striking's always been quality. He started working with Brad Faxon this year, the putting guru. So expect putting improvements at some stage. If the flat stick suddenly starts working this week, Tom Lewis will be tough to beat.
Okay, and third.
And the third and final selection for this one is Andy Sullivan, runaway winner of the English Championship in August. That ended a long victory drought. Been a bit up and down since, but he was third at Wentworth in the BMW PGA, and he loves teeing up in Dubai. He was second to Rory McIlroy in the 2015 DP World Tour Championship, second to Danny Willett in the 2016 Dubai Desert Classic. So he's been beaten by really good players, been very unlucky not to win in Dubai. This could be his week. The fire course puts a premium on putting because it's such a low-scoring track. Sullivan's always been very, very sharp with the flat stick.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. That is golf in Dubai done. And Steve's full preview for that is in today's Racing Post, along with all the stats, all the odds. It's really well worth getting, as is tomorrow's Racing Post, because Steve's full tournament previews for our other events this week will be in there. And next up, we'll do the South African Open. If we look at the market for that, Bedouizenhout, after his victory last week, he's around about 15-2 to follow up. Dean Fratelli, who's been Dylan Fratelli, isn't it? Dean Fratelli, I don't know who that is. After he's been showing some good form in America, he's 9-1. Stone 16 to put a moderate week last week behind him. Likewise, Nina, but he's 18s, and Matthias Schwab is 20. So those are your market leaders. So it's a half decent tournament. It's not a bad field at all. And Steve, you've only got 2 selections here. Does that mean you're fishing in low-priced waters?
Well, we shall see. I think, I am fishing in reasonably low price waters, but we're back at the Gary Player Country Club. You must be pleased about that, Bruce. I mean, this is another fantastic, iconic track, Gary Player Country Club, home of the Nedbank Challenge. We haven't got a Nedbank Challenge this year. That was cancelled. They can't justify the huge amounts of prize money that you pile into the Nedbank in these COVID times. But we've got a South African Open at the venue, 7,834 yards, par 72. Big hitters traditionally enjoy themselves at this venue. Balls at altitude, but it's still a very, very long course, and coming in with plenty of loft in your hand is important at this track. Sunny forecast, light breezes. So, big hitters can make merry this week. And I know I'm going to make you groan with this number 1 selection because I think you think I've said enough about him. But Valco Nienaber is going to win the South African Open. I love this boy. I fancied him for all 3 of these European Tour events in South Africa. He was runner-up in the first one, the Joburg Open. Last week, as I say, despite losing his swing and his timing for a period in the middle of round 1, still managed to finish in 12th place. Only 3 shots off second place last week. When you consider how many shots he frittered away on the 8th and 9th holes last week, he hated those 2 holes. He was 8 over par for the week on those 2 holes. He was 15 under par for the rest of the course. He made 23 birdies and an eagle. He's just got so many birdies in him because he's got that jaw-dropping length, but he's also got a silky smooth putting stroke. So I can see Nienaber falling in love with Sun City on his debut. He's from Bloemfontein, which is about a 5-hour drive from Sun City. So I expect he's visited the Gary Player Country Club before. But I think he's confident anyway at the moment. He knows how good he is. He's recruited a proper caddy, so getting your clubbing right is quite tricky at Sun City because of altitude. But he's got a proper caddy now. If he keeps the wild drives to a minimum, I think Nienaber goes very close this week.
Okay, Nienaber's the main selection, and who are you going to supplement him with?
And then the second one, cue further groans. Brandon Stone. I can forgive what happened last week. Like with Nene, but I fancied Stone for all three of these events. These are two of the best South African youngsters in the business.
We just cut and paste last week's preview, can't we? Just drop it in.
It's a good job I didn't do the Joburg Open, because it would have been the same in 3 weeks in a row. I mean, loyalty is a good attribute.
I don't think it is. I think it's a bad thing. Do you know what? I've been analysing this quite a lot. I think it's a really bad thing, because you get it into your head that someone owes you, or you feel like you'd hate to get off, because it doesn't matter. It's just a fresh tournament with a fresh set of names. I don't know. We'll see, Steve. You're the expert. But
I was getting angry with Brandon Stone last week, because I thought the temerity he showed to be videoed in the safari park after that final round, because they cut to the safari park and he's just relaxing, enjoying the elephants, while I've done my absolute balls on him. So I was a bit annoyed with him then, but I have reflected and decided that a share of 23rd place is not hugely disgraceful. And it was just...
I know they offer a lot of extra places, Steve, but I've never seen anyone go 5th odds to the first 23.
It was just classic golf, because he drove the ball so poorly last week. And the previous week in the Joburg Open, his driving was absolutely amazing, but the other parts of his game let him down. Last week, his approach play was excellent, and he putted better. He had a positive strokes gained putting figure. So all the ingredients are there. If you can have his Joburg Open driving performance with his Alfred Dunhill approach play performance, then he must surely contend here. He knows his game is there, okay? And for his previous trips to this venue, he's been in terrible form, and he's quickly tailed off. But this time, all departments of Stone's game are there. Over the last fortnight, he's shown that, and I expect serious title to. So yeah, it does sound like I'm repeating myself from last week, but I think Nene and Stone will have this between them.
Who do you like best out of the two market principals, Steve?
Very short prices, aren't they? I mean, Bezuidenhout Mania's kicked off there, but there's more birdies on offer this week. This is not a grinder's track. It suits more powerful, aggressive players. I think he's too short to consider, but I'd still favour him over Fratelli, because
he's played well in America since the resumption, isn't he?
Yeah, but he hasn't had that South Africa warm-up. He hasn't played in either the previous two events, so he's coming in cold. He obviously fantastic at the Masters, 5th at the Masters. But I prefer Bezuidenhout, but I think they're both very short prices up. My two, there's a bit more juice in them.
Oh, we haven't done a last one off the shortlist yet.
We haven't done the last one off the shortlist.
Who was it for Dubai?
Let me get my shortlist. Yeah. So for Dubai, it was Sami Välimäki.
All right, okay. And who is it for South Africa?
For South Africa, there's a very short shortlist in South Africa. It was Jaden Trey Shaper. Jaden Trey Shaper's playing again. We'll see what mettle he's got, whether he can recover from what happened on Sunday. I mean, if he doesn't try and put too much into the drives and just plays as he did for the first 3.5 rounds, then he'll be up there. 33 to 1, Jaden Trey Shaper, tempting, but I need the stake money for those big bets on the.
If he does win, will you be will you go to the pylon?
Yeah, I think I might do. Yeah. I really want to end the season on a high. This is the last proper. But we've got a couple of events next week. But this is our chance to have a really sensational Christmas, isn't it? I could sense that in the house last Sunday. I think everyone in the house realised that if Jaden Trey Shaper won that tournament, Christmas would have been spectacular. Even my 1-year-old kid, I think he thought, I might have some lessons from David Ledbetter lined up if that little fella on the telly wins. So there was great disappointment in the household on Sunday, as you can imagine.
Never mind.
But
we've got another week now. Let's look forward, eh?
Exactly. Yeah, we've still got time to have a great Christmas, haven't we? We've still got 2 weeks to pay for a wonderful Christmas.
Okay, well, let's see what you've got in Mexico down on the Riviera Maya. It's the Mayakoba Golf Classic, El Chameleon. Now, this is, of course, Steve, that when we do get the each-way trebles up and win it all, and we can afford to jet set around the world, this course is going on the list. It's an absolute belter, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Another Greg Norman design. We've got 2 Greg Norman designs this week, one in Dubai, one here. 7,039 yards, par 71. It's been the venue since 2007. And in terms of profiling the sort of player you want for this is what we always try to do for every tournament, work out which players are favoured here. It couldn't be easier for this tournament, because you look at the honours board and they're all accurate plodders. Fred Funk, Ryan Gay, Mark Wilson, John Huh, Ray McDowell, Pat Perez, Matt Kuchar, Brendan Todd. I mean, they're all cut. all cut from the same cloth, aren't they?
They are, aren't they? Blimey.
So,
Right. Well, let's quickly get the market then, because unlike previous renewals of this, we've actually got some of the biggest names in golf coming down. It tends to evade the real stars. They don't tend to put this on the list. But Justin Thomas is going there this year, and he's 13-2 favourite. Brooks Koepka 11-1. You can get 16s Harris English and Daniel Berger, and around about 20-1 bar. Local man Abraham Answer, of course, looking to win on home soil. So it's a decent field this year. Does that potentially change your thinking, Steve?
No, I was delighted. I think we're fortunate that Justin Thomas and Brooks Koepka are here, taking a huge chunk out of the market, allowing us to focus on more focused runners. I just cannot see how Thomas can get motivated for this one. I mean, you need maximum concentration around El Camaleon, because there's a card buster waiting for you. Any loose drive ends up in all sorts of trouble. So I see Thomas lacking the focus and spraying one, triple bogey. I mean, you say you get Ricky Fowler used to come this tournament quite regularly. You get the odd one turn up because it's such a nice holiday location. It's just a nice end of season jolly up, really. So I don't know what. I think Thomas might just be there for a little bit of fun. Brooks Koepka, I think his head's all over the place at the moment. I mean, you saw the jealousy just oozing out of him in interviews after the Masters. Didn't he? When he gets asked about Dustin Johnson, it's almost like he wants to punch the interviewer in the face. Koepka cannot believe how quickly he's gone from world number one to world number nobody. Rapid decline, and I don't know. Winning this tournament is not going to change anything.
He's not interested in these kind of events, is he?
He never has been interested in the minor events, and I think maybe his advisors have said, "Come on, we need to get back on track." They've sent him there, but even if he wins this week, it changes nothing. He's still nowhere near the elite at the moment. The way things have turned out. So I think Koepka and Thomas will struggle for focus, and that allows us to justify a healthy investment on Harris English at 16-1.
Okay.
We hinted about Harris English for the Mayakoba in our last podcast. Hopefully not many bookmakers were listening. He final around 62 in the RSM Classic. Not won on the PGA Tour since the 2013 Mayakoba Classic. And in last year's Mayakoba, he contended for a very long way before finishing fifth. And the way he played last season and the start of this season makes me think that the drought must surely end soon. His all-round stats have become so solid. Every department of his game in order. 12 of his last 17 events have yielded a top 20 finish. He was second in the Northern Trust behind Dustin Johnson, fourth in the US Open, sixth last time out in the RSM Classic. English has got his game in order. An overdue third PGA Tour title on Sunday for Harris English.
Okay, Harris English gets top spot. And then a couple of others. Who are they, Steve?
Next best, as you mentioned, Abraham Answer. Mexico has been craving a home winner in this event. Answer is not only Mexican competing in his home country, he's playing on a course which suits him extremely well. He finds fairways for fun, typically stays out of trouble. Form figures of 9, 21, 8 from the last three Mayakobas. But since the last Mayakoba, he's gone up a level. He's top scored on his President's Cup debut. He's twice finished runner-up on the PGA Tour. Hugely unlucky to run into an inspired Webb Simpson in the Heritage. Answer played really well. Simpson just played slightly better. And he's played in the final group of the Masters last time out. Teed up alongside Dustin Johnson and Cameron Smith on the Sunday at Augusta. An amazing Masters debut from Answer. He dropped to 13th place in round 4, but could leave Augusta with his head held high. He's clearly going to win on the PGA Tour at some point.
I liked his interviews during the Masters, Steve. He was there for business. He wasn't just a tourist getting all carried away with how well he was doing. He seems like a very calm, determined kind of guy, doesn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And debutants have a poor record at the Masters. To turn up and get in the final group, I mean, all credit to the lad. He is going to win on the PGA Tour, and this course suits him perfectly. Even this course was in, China. I fancy him on this course. The fact it's in his home track, and he'll feel comfortable and potentially inspired by his surroundings. Big chance for Answer.
Okay, and third?
And then my final one is Corey Connors. The BMW Championship at the end of August knocked the stuffing out of Corey Connors. He had a putting nightmare on the final hole, which cost him a place in the Tour Championship. So he went into his shell a little bit from there. But from the Zozo Championship onwards, the old Corey Connors has returned. He was 8th in the Zozo and 10th in the Masters. Fantastic effort. He even holed a few putts in the Masters. And then he was 10th last time out in the RSM Classic. So, Connors is back doing what he does best. Greens and regulation machine, very well suited to El Camaleon. Has done nothing.
He's a bit of improvement in his putting away from being a top player, isn't he? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's very fair to say. Yeah, there's not many players that find more greens and regulation than Corey Connors. And in his previous trips to El Camaleon, he's been miles down the world rankings. He's had a rapid shoot up the rankings. This time he arrives as world number 55. I expect Connors to contend on Sunday. Yeah, as you say, if he holds a few putts, he's in business. So I like my 3. I've got 3 there. So solid each way bets on those 3 because the market's been made by Thomas and Koepka. I just can't see being up for it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thanks. So very selective this week. We'll recap all the bets for you in a minute in case you didn't get them. But if you were only having one golf bet this week, Steve, what would it be?
Oh, you cheeky monkey.
It's not that hard, is it? Which of these 8 players do you fancy the most?
Okay, no, fair enough. I reckon, I'll be hugely disappointed if Harris English doesn't contend. I think an each way bet at 16s on Harris English, as you say, you get plenty of places these days, particularly on the PGA Tour events. If you get eight places there, can't you? If Harris English doesn't finish in the top 8, I think he should be ashamed of himself.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get the solemn, concise recap for people who may not have got all the selections. Steve Palmer's selections this week are Golf in Dubai Championship.
Thorbjorn Olesen, Tom Lewis, Andy Sullivan.
South African Open.
Valco Nieneba, Brandon Stone.
Mayakoba Golf Classic.
Harris English, Abraham Ansah, Corey Connors.
Thank you very much, Steve. And who was last off the shortlist in Mexico?
Last off the shortlist in Mexico. So I don't need to be solemn anymore, do I?
No, you can be as cheery as you like.
Russell Henley.
Who's that England shirt behind you? As you bent down, it revealed a nice autographed England shirt.
Yeah, that's Paul Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne. Yeah. For Euro '96, signed Paul Gascoigne shirt. One of my footballing heroes.
Sorry, I was so taken by the shirt. I didn't hear who you said was the last.
Paul Gascoigne.
No, the last off the shortlist. It wasn't.
Russell Henley. Russell Henley.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Excellent. Jolly good. 1st of December. Have you got an advent calendar, Steve?
There's about 6 of them lined up on our staircase. Yeah, I don't know whether any of them for me. Actually, no. Grace brought that in earlier. I've got one here from.
Have a look at this little beauty.
Oh, they don't come much better than that.
That is absolutely different class, and I'm very pleased with that one.
That is outstanding, isn't
it?
That's that one.
That's the mother and father of all advent calendars. That, yeah. Okay, so we've got one more sweet spot before we pack up for the year, haven't we? So what have we got next week? Again, it's a triple header, isn't it?
We've got the DP World Tour Championship, which is always a tremendous event. And that's
in Dubai, and you'd expect some big names for that, would you?
I would. I don't think we're going to get all of them. I probably misspoke earlier when I said all the big guns are there. I don't think Rory's going to bother, and a few others won't. But Victor Perez will be there. I'm disappointed he's not playing this week.
How much bigger than that, do they?
Well, yeah. I mentioned him because we tipped him for the race to Dubai at 80 to 1, and he's 5th in the race to Dubai with a mathematical chance of victory. So I was hoping he'd play in this one. I even texted his caddy to try and convince him that he could convince Perez to play.
I bet that worked. Hey, Victor, I've just got a mate of mine on. He wants you to completely reschedule your life and go and play a tournament in Dubai next week. Is that all right?
Yeah, well, his thinking is that he stays fresh for the big one, where the race to Dubai points are huge, and it'd be better chance of winning that way. So he probably is right on reflection. But we've got a great tournament. We've got the US Ladies Open. The US Women's Open. We're not supposed to call them ladies anymore, are we? US Women's Open and the QBE Shootout.
Blimey, all right. Talking of ladies, Steve, I read this week. Did you know how the name of golf is derived?
No, I don't think I do.
Well, this might be complete bollocks, but someone said it's gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. Can that be right?
No. No, someone's pulling your plonker there.
Really? Well, okay. I don't know what the derivation of the name is. I'll have to look it up. But
no, your plonker's been there.
That's it. Okay.
That's banter.
I'm so gullible. I'd fall for anything. Never mind. All right, then, mate. Well, listen, excellent stuff. Anything exciting? We're free of lockdown, aren't we? Which tier are you in from tomorrow?
Oh, devastated with tier 2. Yeah, we've gone from tier 1 to tier 2. So Yeah,
waste of time tier 2 in the winter. You basically, all you can do is go to a pub or restaurant with the same people you live with. Well,
yeah. This is
that's
what's
exciting.
disturbed me. I like my Wednesday night trips to a public house. That really helps my mental health. That's been denied to me now. I can't go to a public house with anyone that's not in my house.
Unless you want to go outside, which is just, it's actually winter. So it's not much use to us, this, is it?
No, devastating blow. I think we've got to wait till the next Masters, haven't we, before we actually get our lives back.
Oh, well,
we'll be
never
buoyant
mind.
for the next Masters because we'll all be released, vaccinated up to the eyeballs, and we'll have another Masters to get.
Will you
stuck in.
get the jab, or are you an anti-vaxxer?
Oh, I'll get as many jabs as I can. Yeah. No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I think the anti-vaxxers are bonkers, aren't they?
Well, each their own. Okay, mate. Well, excellent stuff. Let's hope the golf goes well. We've got 5 days of action, haven't we? Because the Dubai starts on the Wednesday. So a lot to happen. As we always say, I know Steve's very confident this week, but do please bet safely. Only bet with money you can afford to lose, particularly at the time where so much pressure to spend on Christmas presents and whatever else. But hopefully it'll be a good week, and we will be back next week. Steve, thank you very much indeed for your input. Thank you for joining us on The Sweet Spot. Like I say, some great tournament previews in the Racing Post and on racingpost.com, so check those out. And we'll be back next Tuesday for another Sweet Spot.